What's up guys, this is Alan. In today's episode I'm going to be reviewing my giant timber bamboo, also known as Oldhamii. If you're looking for a privacy fence bamboo, a fast growing bamboo, bulletproof bamboo, well this is the one to get because it's so easy to grow, even I can grow it. So if you want to know all the growing tips about this variety specifically, well make sure you keep on watching. Alright guys, this is my giant timber Oldhamii bamboo. Let me give you a little history about it. It has been in the ground for about 2 years. Just to give you a perspective, 2 years ago, it was probably about this tall, just a little clump. I stuck it in the ground, straight native soil, which my native soil is clay. This is the soil it's planted in, right here. Nothing special. The only special thing about it is that it drains water. That is the only thing that I always make sure happens before I plant anything in the ground. And like I said, 2 years old, and all I do is just water. Now, this bamboo variety is in full sun, but it was not in full sun when I first put it in the ground. Super easy to grow. I really haven't had any issues. The only issues I've had in the 2 years time is it probably would have been a lot bigger, but I had gophers in here. And I had a guy in here, he was eating the roots of my bamboo. I didn't realize it for a little while, so it did take a little longer to actually start taking off. Now, that you know a little bit about this variety specifically, let's go ahead and talk about its growing requirements. Sun requirements, full sun. This variety will take full sun anywhere in the United States. If it takes full sun in my area, it will take full sun in yours. Now, like I said, mine was not in full sun from day one, but it is in full sun now. If you want to grow this variety in full shade, I do not recommend it. They do need the direct sunlight for them to actually grow vigorously. If you keep them in the shade, they will grow a lot slower. Let's talk about the winter protection or winter care for this variety. This variety in my area is mainly frost sensitive. So as long as you protect it from frost, you should be good to go. I'll be honest with you, I didn't do anything for this variety, so it did take some damage in the winter time. But as you can see, you cannot even tell what happened last winter. Cold hardy to low 20s. Every year in my area it gets in the low 20s, no issues. And this variety, even when it was really small, even with the gophers eating the roots, still made it. Super easy to grow. Unless your soil freezes in the winter time, I do not think you will have any issues growing this variety. Let's talk about the root system of this bamboo variety. Well, bamboo is a grass, guys. So the root system of this variety is shallow and it is also fibrous. It's about, I think, six feet away from that wall over there. And I don't foresee having any issues because the roots are not strong enough to push anything. So if you have a sidewalk, you have your house nearby, the only thing you're gonna have to worry about is gonna be all this litter right here. But yeah, super shallow roots, easy. This mulch is not intentional. This is just shedding from this bamboo specifically. Since I never clean it, it just piles up in here. And oh, you can see the roots on the surface. Look, that's the root system of your bamboo variety right there. It was growing into the mulch. So, all right, that brings us to growth rate. How fast does this variety grow? This is a fast growing variety, super fast. Now you have to understand, it will only grow once it's fully rooted in the ground. For me, that took about, I would say, a year and a few months. Once it was fully rooted in the ground, this variety took off. All this growth that you see right here actually happened, I would say, in the past 6-7 months. Before then, it was still small. But that's how long. And the reason it started growing 6-7 months ago is because, well, it was not fully rooted in the ground. How fast will it grow? Several feet per year. Once the little shoots come off the ground, by the time they get full size, it's literally within a week. How tall is this variety gonna get? Right now, let me see if I can give you a view. This variety, I would say, is easily between 30 to 40 feet. But textbook answer, it's gonna be at least 50 feet, if not taller. I've seen some super tall Oldhamii bamboo varieties out there, and they get really, really tall. especially in areas where you don't get as much sun. They tend to grow taller, trying to reach sunlight. Here in the desert, we get tons of sun. So what I've noticed with a lot of bamboo varieties specifically, they get really, really bushy all the way down from the bottom to the top. In Florida, I've noticed a lot of them, they are bare on the bottom and most of the canopy is gonna be on the top. And that's simply because the sun exposure difference between here in the desert compared to Florida. But you can see the wall right here, I already cut it once because it was just hanging over the wall, and I did not anticipate that when I put it in the ground. So if I had known that, I would say if you don't want the canopy to stick over the fence into your neighbor's yard, I would probably plant this variety at least 10 feet away from the wall. And that's how, actually, when I first put it in the ground, it was between 6 to 7 to 8 feet away from the wall. But you can see the clump, it just grown towards the wall. So I'm gonna have to prune that area over there just to keep it from taking over the neighbor's yard. Let's talk about the plant structure. Well, this is a bamboo, so they grow straight up. And like I said earlier, 50 feet plus easily. It's a clumping variety. The clump itself, it will keep spreading and it will easily cover an area, you know, 8 by 8, 10 by 10. And over time, you know, the culms, the shoots, the canes, whatever you want to call them, they will die off, and then you can cut them off and prune them, all that good stuff, so you can just trim them up if you want. Very easy to maintain. If you don't want them to grow farther out, all you gotta do is just cut the shoots flush to the ground. And this variety specifically, I like it because this is the variety that you'll find commercially available for building. So if you want to build anything out of bamboo, this variety right here, the Oldhamii, the giant timber, is the one you're going to find for sale. Very hardwood, easy to build with. They get super huge. The culms themselves, fully grown, they will get, I would say, the biggest one I've seen was maybe 6-7 inches in diameter. This guy right here, this is about 3.5 right now. But remember, my bamboo variety is not even fully mature. It just started growing about 6-7 months ago. So this is not even full size. Full size is gonna be at least twice as wide as this. So, but yeah, if you just wanna prune it and keep it contained in an area, you can just cut it flush to the ground, and you can actually use the wood for building stuff, or you can sell it. This stuff right here is super expensive to buy if you can find it. So if you want to start a growth of bamboo commercially, this is the variety you want to get. Let's talk about watering, guys. Okay, so this is one of the few plants that I have in the ground that I'm still using those stupid bobblers that I do not like because they keep breaking all the time. Unfortunately, I bought a lot of them back in the day. So as they break, I just keep replacing them. And once I run out, I will not use these guys right here. Why I don't like this? Because the tops, they come off. They break off and they come right off. And then even though they're supposed to be adjustable, you can turn the water down or turn it up. As soon as you start turning it down, it's just not gonna keep the setting that you set it to. The water will stop flowing. So it's either fully on or fully closed. So there's hardly nothing in between. So how much water am I giving this plant right here? Well, this plant right here, it's in the same zone as my star fruit, my bay leaf, my apples, my citrus. I also have a loquat on this zone right here. So just because of all those guys, I'm watering right now every 4 days for I think 6 hours, if I remember correctly. And then I got another plant on the other side, and there's another emitter like this. So this one right here puts out about 13 gallons of water an hour. There's another one on the other side. So this one gets 26 gallons every 4 days times 6 hours or so. And how did I come up with that time? Well, I'm just guessing. Remember, it's all about your drainage. And I'm guessing since this is in a decline right here, a lot of the water runs that way. So I'm just assuming, I'm guessing that's how long it takes to penetrate the soil, you know, at least 4 or 5 feet. Remember, this is a bamboo variety. It has shallow roots. They only go down a few feet. So deep watering is not gonna work out for you. And remember, also I have clay soil, so clay soil takes a long time to soak the water. So even if you flood it, a lot of the water just pulls on the surface and evaporates before it even soaks into the ground. So when watering anything in my area or with clay soil, it's always better to water slowly over a longer period of time rather than just dumping a bunch of water at once and then thinking it's okay. So if you have a bamboo variety and it's not growing and yours is older than mine, and your leaves are all crispy brown and it just doesn't look right, most likely it needs water. Now this variety here does not drink any more water than any of my other varieties. All my bamboo varieties that I have get about the same type of watering. And will it will it live with less water? Probably, but remember I have other plants on the same watering zone, so that's the way I water. The good thing about watering is it's very hard to overdo it, because if you just give it more than it needs, the water just runs off, it drains into the ground, right? The problem is when you don't give it enough, your plant's gonna talk to you. When you don't give it enough, a lot of your leaves, they're gonna get transpiration burn, they're gonna look crispy, they're gonna look burned, and your plant obviously is not gonna grow like it's supposed to. Remember, my plant's about 2 years old and it's already like 30 to 40 feet. So this is the growth that you should be expecting out of this plant at 2 years' time if you're watering it correctly and your plant is fully rooted in the ground. All right, let's talk about fertilization, guys. I don't do anything, okay? So I have horses, so every once in a while we clean the horse poop and we just throw the poop in there, and that's maybe once a year. Other than that, I don't do anything. You can see there's a lot of mulch in there. There's a lot of living organisms in there. Obviously, they're eating that up. They're pooping. They are taking care of my plant. I don't do anything specifically. Remember, my plant is in clay soil. Mainly, all I do is water. As long as you have the water down, life will come to that area, and that life itself is what's going to feed your plant. So don't worry about fertilization unless your plants are in a pot. If your bamboos are in a container, obviously they rely 100% on you for sustainment, so you do have to fertilize them. Here at the nursery, we use Osmocote slow release fertilizer on all our plants. Tropical plants, fruit trees, everything, flowers, house plants, doesn't matter. Everything gets the same, okay? I don't even care about the numbers as long as you have potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus in there. So once a year, we fertilize the pots, depending how the plants are looking. And that's it, in containers. Easy, slow release. Every time you water, the fertilizer gets released into the containers. Easy. That brings us to container growing. Can you grow bamboo in a container? The answer is, of course you can grow in a container, but not long term. Your bamboo will never get full size in a container. It's just never gonna happen. Facts, guys. That's not my opinion. I'm not making that up. I'm not biased. It's just not gonna happen. I have hundreds and hundreds of bamboo, and I've had them for many years, and they never get big in containers. Bamboo varieties, bamboo in general, once they become root bound in the containers, they stop growing. They just don't like to be restricted. They need the space to actually grow. Most plants out there are the opposite. Once fully rooted in the containers, they actually grow super fast. But bamboo, they grow so fast, they root any container you put them in within a year, and then they slow down growing. So if you ever go to a nursery and you see a massive bamboo in a huge container, and they're trying to sell you that that's a stronger bamboo, it's gonna live longer, better, faster, whatever it is, that's a lie. The only reason that bamboo is probably that big is because it rooted itself into the ground and it was able to expand its root system and then grow to that size in that container. And then eventually they cut the roots and then they're selling you that container, making you believe a bigger plant is stronger, better. So that way they can make more money off you. You know what, guys? When you come to my nursery, I will tell you exactly how that happens. I will tell you just that, and you can make up your own decision if you want to buy a bigger one or a smaller one. But in general, if you want to keep it in a container for a little while, yes, you can go ahead and keep it in a container, but it's never going to look big. It's always going to look skinny because the shoots, the culms, the canes, they do not get mature, like big, until they're fully rooted in the container, in the ground. That never happens in containers. So when you go to a nursery and you buy bamboo, they're always going to look like this, skinny, and it's very hard to tell what variety you're buying simply because they're skinny. You cannot tell the size of the full-size mature bamboo in a container. So that will only happen in the ground. That's it, guys. That is my review of my giant timber Oldhamii bamboo. Super easy to grow, one of the fastest growing varieties out there, one of the most popular varieties that you will find mostly everywhere, simply because they are easier to propagate from cuttings than a lot of the other varieties out there. And it's also one of the cheaper varieties also compared to other bamboo varieties that I carry here at the nursery, just because they're easy to propagate. Personal tips about this variety, other than your shoots are not going to get mature until the plant is fully rooted in the ground, that's about it. Just make sure you water it. They don't drink any more water than any other variety. Just remember, it's a grass. So when the soil is dry, you water it and make sure the water penetrates the soil several feet, depending how old your bamboo variety is. If it's the first summer in the ground, just concentrate on the root ball only. After the first year, then you want to make sure you soak the ground at least a few feet down every watering. Other than that, guys, if you have any questions, as always, comment below. If you like the videos, don't forget to like them, so that way it gets recommended to other people and more people can actually learn about gardening. And as always, I will see you next time.